I was ready to come on here and talk about something completely different, but Jayson Tatum is doubtful for game 2. The Celtics are unhappy, and game 2 is about to be war. What's ahead for the Orlando Magic today on Locked On Magic?
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is April 23rd, 2025. My name is Philip Rossman-Reich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, Jayson Tatum is doubtful to play in Wednesday's game 2. The Celtics are unhappy about it, and the Magic want to be even more physical. Why game 2 is set up to be a fight. And I don't just mean a fight, a fight. War has been declared. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a moment. But first, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. No matter when you listen to us, whether it's first in the morning, whether it's right when we upload, we truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic your first listen of the day, or whenever you listen to us, whether it's first in the morning, whether it's right when we upload. You can now get even more involved with Locked On Magic with the Locked On Magic daily newsletter, the one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Magic newsletter. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Midway through the fourth quarter, Sunday's game 1, it was so nondescript. I didn't even mention it. There were bigger issues at play, and it didn't seem like a big deal. In fact, it was frankly made a bigger deal during the game than I think a lot of people thought it should have been. Midway through the fourth quarter, Jayson Tatum came around the screen. Magic were a little bit late in their rotation. He had a free lane to the basket. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Wendell Carter converged on him, went up for a dunk. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope caught him across the arm, fouled him, no doubt a foul. He missed the dunk, landed hard on his wrist, and that was that. Tatum was on the floor for a little bit. I'm not going to say he was certainly on the floor. He's hurt. It's not one thing or another. But even during the game, Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla was seen kind of mouthing to him, "Get up," kind of playfully mouthing to him, "Get up." After the game, while Jayson Tatum's mom was playfully shouting at him if she needed to go to the Magic's locker room, which, by the way, little known fact, the home locker room, the Celtics locker room, and the Magic's visiting locker room, literally across the hall from each other in the TD Garden. Something I did not realize till I got here in Boston to say. So confrontation is not impossible in that building. Very tight building in Boston. It's a really great atmosphere, and part of it's because it's just so compact as far as a building beyond anything else. But Tatum said after the game, got x-rays, thought he'd be fine. Joe Mazzulla said he was going to be fine. There's no concern about him. And that seemed to be that. Nobody was thinking twice or thinking much more beyond that when it came to this incident. However you want to call it, this incident was done. Flagrant foul was given. People disagreed that it should have been a flagrant foul. It was a hard foul. It was a tough foul, a tough landing, no doubt about it. I don't want anyone to be hurt. The Magic are a physical team. They want to hit people. They don't mind hitting people. They don't mind using their fouls. They are built defensively, at least, for these playoff moments. But here we are, Tuesday afternoon. The Celtics officially labeled Jayson Tatum as doubtful. The official injury is, let me make sure I get the injury correct here. Is a right distal radius bone bruise. The distal radius is a bone in your wrist, essentially a bruised wrist is what they've been calling it for the previous few days. He is doubtful for game 2. That does mean he could play. Jayson Tatum has never missed a playoff game. Very easily could play in this game. Al Horford was asked about this and about the potential for his injury, and Al Horford definitely took it personally, saying, quote, "Yes, there was something extra. It was about the second or third time, especially KCP, went at him in that way. To say the least, we are all expecting KCP to be booed every time he touches the ball when he is introduced. We're expecting the Magic to get a little extra level of heat from the TD Garden crowd. And especially if Tatum doesn't play, we are expecting a physical game. Frankly, I am expecting a much more physical game. There are only 29 free throws total between the two teams in game one. I am expecting significantly more free throws. I am expecting this to be a war. This is going to be a battle. The Celtics are going to look to hit first, hit often. The refs are going to be on guard too. They're going to call fouls. It's going to be a very, very different game than game one. Getting to the foul line, not getting frustrated by the physicality, not looking to the refs, but understanding that the refs are going to call this differently because now there is tension, there is drama, is going to be a reality. But here's the thing, Boston. I'm going to call you out a little bit here, Boston. I don't like doing that because you're very, very good. And you're even if Tatum doesn't play, there's still a very good chance Boston wins. Boston went 8-2 in the 10 games that Tatum missed during the regular season. Both losses were to the Orlando Magic. One of them the end of the season loss. But the Celtics are still very capable of winning. This is no walk in the park. Even with Jaylen Brown hurt, we'll talk a little bit more about why coming up here in a moment. But I'm going to say this. If Boston thinks that Orlando was too physical, let me tell you something. The Magic don't think they were physical enough. In fact, the Magic, and I believe, and I agree with this, believe the Celtics were the more physical team in the second half. They believe that they lost. One of the big reasons they lost that game on Sunday is they were not physical enough. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, about one of the outliers in the series, or one of the outliers in game one. The Magic are the better rebounding team. They averaged more. They had a higher offensive rebound rate than the Celtics did this season. About the same number of second chance points. They got worked in second chance points. The Magic got a lot of offensive rebounds, missed opportunities to score. It does not feel likely that's going to happen again, and especially because the Magic played that way, and they know they gave points and gave possessions away. Orlando, talking to Magic players over the last 2 days, they will admit the Celtics were the more physical team. They will. Just plain and simple, they recognize the Celtics punched first and kept punching, and the Magic were flailing, struggled to punch back. And look, the reason why Jayson Tatum was even in that fouling situation is because the Magic weren't physical enough at the point of attack, let him get downhill, and they were late rotating back. If the Magic were more physical, if the Magic were playing good defense in that moment, they would never have been in a situation to foul him in that way. The Magic are going to come out looking to punch too. That's why this game is going to be war. It's going to be a different basketball game on Wednesday. Because Orlando felt they were punked. Let's just be blunt. They were punked. The Celtics punched them hard, and the Magic were caught on their toes, caught on their heels. We talked to Jonathan Isaac after practice on Tuesday, and Jonathan Isaac said they kind of don't talk about them being physical. The Magic just kind of breathe physicality. That's who they are. That's the kind of team they are. And what was disappointing about that second half is the Magic lost that piece of their identity. They had to talk about it. They know the Celtics talked about in the locker room. Celtics said they talked about in the locker room, and they came out and said, the refs are calling it this way. We got to hit first. And that's a big part of why the Magic struggled to score. They gave up that 15-4 run because Orlando was getting downhill, getting to the paint, but missing shots, not finding the looks that they want, not getting the clean looks that they want, not trusting their teammates to kick out, not playing with the pace and motion that they wanted to because the Celtics were bumping them off course, kicking them out of range, getting them out of rhythm within their offense. Orlando's looking to do the same now. And so I am expecting this to be a really, really rough game. I am expecting game two. Game two is going to be war. The Celtics feel like the Magic injured one of their best players, injured the heart and soul of their team in a lot of ways. The Magic feel like they weren't physical enough. They feel like they got punked and they did not play to their identity in the second half of that game. That is a collision a literal collision that is going to explode. It is going to be a battle on Wednesday. And I don't know who's going to win. I am back and forth on what's going to happen. Tatum playing as a big piece of that puzzle. We'll get to keys for game 2 coming up here in a minute, but this is going to be a massive fight. And frankly, because of all this tension now, because of the Magic feeling like they have something left on the floor, because the Celtics feel like they're being pushed around and being fought, game 2 could be a very decisive game in this series, one way or the other. So stay tuned for that. With Jayson Tatum out, though, a lot of questions about the Boston Celtics, but questions the Celtics can answer because while the Magic may feel like they have a lot of answers to the test, Derrick White is a key reason why the Magic aren't always able to execute. I'll talk about why Derrick White is a huge difference in this series. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. There's nothing like the atmosphere of an NBA playoff game. Every bucket, every defensive stop, every moment feels huge. It's electric in the arena, whether you're at the TD Garden or coming back home to the Kia Center for the pair of games this weekend. And with Game Time, you can be part of it without the stress of last-minute ticket hunting. Game Time makes it fast and easy to get playoff tickets, even when demand is sky high. Prices on the app actually go down as tip-off gets closer, and their last-minute deals can save you up to 60%. You know, I am here in Boston. A couple of the other writers and I, we use Game Time to go see the Boston Red Sox play on Tuesday night. That's why this podcast is actually coming out late. Long trip to and from Fenway, but an absolute pleasure, an absolute awesome trip to be able to go to Fenway Park, see the Red Sox take on the Seattle Mariners. It was great, and we were able to save up to 60% on buying last minute to the game, as well as understand the all-in pricing, meaning there was no surprise fees at checkout. We saw what we paid. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Again, terms apply. Create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Let me make this really, really clear. Jayson Tatum is doubtful for Wednesday's game. It seems very, very likely that the Celtics are trending toward not playing him. If it were questionable, I'd say he is playing. The fact that they listed him as doubtful, especially after 2 days off to look at it, even after saying they didn't think it was a big deal, that he is doubtful to me suggests that he's not playing. And the Magic should prepare it as if he is playing and everything. But let me make this really, really clear. It does not matter. Boston is really good. They are a dynamic offense with multiple offensive weapons. And they have the kind of roster and the kind of players that can fill in when they are missing key players. They have the kind of roster and the kind of identity and kind of culture that, they can survive missing a key player for a short time, for any length of time, even a playoff game against a quality opponent. Look, the Magic are just so inconsistent on offense. It's hard to bet on them taking advantage of this because Boston's defense will still be very, very good. And other players will fill in. Essentially, I'm trying very, very hard not to overthink about the offseason at this point. Look, unless the Magic somehow miraculously win this series, and again, it's 1-0 series, it's not so impossible, but it would feel miraculous for the Magic to win this series. I don't think I'm breaking any news by saying that. Unless the Magic win this series, we know that there are changes coming. That this Magic team has some fatal flaws, some significant flaws that they have to fix, that they have to correct. One of the keys in this series is undoubtedly all the offensive weapons that the Celtics have. And the difference between a team like the Magic in a team like the Celtics is frankly Derrick White. Throughout the season, everyone's been asking me, where the Magic should turn a point guard, what kind of point guard they should find. And I've honestly said, like, he's not available. The Celtics aren't looking to trade him, but they need to find a Derrick White. Derrick White is like the perfect guard for this team. If the Magic truly are like the taller, bigger version of Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Derrick White is the point guard who can bring the ball up, initiate action, spread the floor with the shooting, and then, like let Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown do their thing. But when they need him to step up, he will step up and he will score. It's not like abundant that he scores 30 points. And, looking at my stat sheet here, I'm noticing that he was +7. So it wasn't like it was like killer minutes with Derrick White. It's not crazy that he scored 30 points. It's not even like super rare that he made 7 threes. He's done that throughout his time this season, throughout the year. White has had, he would score 30 points on 7 or 12 shooting. He had 2 games with 30 or more points this season before then, 4 games with 7 or more threes, and 20 games with 5 or more threes. He is just someone that fits the role and supports the stars. In a game where Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown did not play well, and the Magic did a good job forcing them into tough jumpers, they found Derrick White. Derrick White was the guy who got loose, was the guy who kind of wriggled free from all that attention. And he made the Magic pay, whether it was kickouts to the corner when the Magic rotated or over-rotated and kind of lost that attention, whether it was going around screens or playing in the right angle on the screens before the Magic could switch and hitting threes, whether it was transition threes. Derrick White was everywhere, taking advantage of whatever weakness he could find in the Magic. It's plain and simple. Boston has 6-7 guys averaging 10 points per game or more. Orlando is just 4, and 2 of them are hurt, Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner. It's a little bit of a math equation. When you look at this roster, who is going to consistently get you a random 20-point game? If Paolo and Franz are good for what they're good for, who's going to get you the random 20-point game? On a night where Paolo maybe struggles, kind of like he did against the Hawks last week, who's going to be the player to step up consistently? In Tuesday's game against Atlanta was Cole Anthony. Well, Cole Anthony, he vowed to play better, and I think he'll get that opportunity, but he's got a tight leash because of his defensive shortcomings. The Celtics targeted him endlessly, and so it's tough to use him and see if he can have that offensive spark. If he doesn't have the offensive spark, completely useless in this series. Just plain and simple, and it's an issue with Cole Anthony as a player kind of moving forward as the Magic begin thinking more and more about how they stack up in the playoffs. As the Magic enter this game with Jayson Tatum potentially out, but Jaylen Brown still nursing that knee issue. Let's not forget that. He's a little bit hampered. He's getting healthier. He looked fine for the most part in the game on Sunday, but he's still working his way back from an issue. Derrick White is the guy that fills in. And the Celtics have so many of those guys. I think we'll see more from Kristaps Porzingis, who's just 5 points, 1 for 8 shooting. I think we'll see more from Jrue Holiday. His 9 points in that third quarter changed the game, flipped the game. The Celtics have guys who can step up. And so as we start thinking about the offseason, the Magic need to find the Derrick White to their Paolo, Banchero, and Franz Wagner. Now, again, maybe that's Jalen Suggs. Maybe the Magic already have that in-house and they're dismissing it because of the injury. I think most of us would agree the Magic need to find another offensive player, another offensive attacker, another guy who can play that quasi-point guard role, that quasi-playmaker role, but play off of Paolo and Franz. They still need Derrick White types. We're not hiding from this fact. It's not coming in this series, so it's irrelevant to opine, the Magic should have this player, go get this player. We'll get to that in the offseason. It's coming. We know it's happening. We know it must happen. But in this series, what Derrick White does is a big differentiator between the Magic and the Celtics. It is a big reason why Boston is going to be so hard to stop for this Orlando team, because they have so many weapons, so many guys who can fill in, so many who can help. The Celtics know they won that game Sunday because of Derrick White's consistency. Again, plus minus is a little bit of a relevant stat, but 7 for 12 shooting from 3, he was the guy Orlando could not cover. And obviously, if Tatum's out, they'll put more attention on him. They'll be a little bit more focused on him. Ken Tagus Pope will get the call on him. Franz Wagner will probably get the call on Jaylen Brown. That sets the defense up a little bit better, perhaps. But the Magic don't have a guy that does what Derrick White does for the Celtics. And that is such, among the many big differences and big keys, that tells you what the Magic need, and it tells you what they're trying to overcome in this series. So we've finally made it. It's been a long time. These 2 days off, been enjoying my time in Boston. I'm ready for game 2. What else should we be watching for in game 2? We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Amazon Fire TV. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your pair of controllers, subscribe or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed. As easily as you stream your favorite shows, it's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. With Wi-Fi 6, 6E, and auto low latency mode advanced technology, Fire TV Stick 4K delivers smoother and more responsive gameplay with lightning fast speeds you need to stay competitive. If you're not into gaming, the Fire TV Stick with 4K streaming allows you to watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribe services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. I've been in my hotel room for the last 4 days. If I'd gotten my Amazon Fire TV Stick, I'd be able to play all my video. I'd be able to play my video games. I'm an EA Play subscriber. I'd be able to play my F1, my EAFC, my college football games. I'd be able to play that from my hotel room. It's a must-have when you travel. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started today. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. So what else is the key for Game 2? What am I going to be watching in Game 2? Like I said, I think the physicality is going to be a big thing. I mentioned this over the last 2 days. A lot of the stats that I'm going to look at are going to be in the bottom left of your official box score, your second chance points, your points in the paint, your fast break points. That's going to be a key factor in the series. We've talked plenty about pace. Go listen to yesterday's show. I really do think the physicality is going to be a big thing. The Magic need to hit first. And I think they did a good job of that in Game 1. I think they did a really good job kind of taking that early blow, like standing up to Boston, saying, like, you're not pushing us around from the start. You're going to have to fight and scratch and claw for everything in this series. They didn't do a good job of that in the beginning of the third quarter, but I think Orlando learned some lessons, and I think they will be better. Obviously, a big part of the game is someone else has to help Paolo and Franz. The Magic cannot be so Paolo and Franz centric. And some of that is Paolo and Franz trusting their reads, trusting their teammates, and the Magic making shots. Look, they made 10 of 27 threes. They made enough threes. They made their threes at a good percentage. They just didn't shoot or make enough of them. It's because the ball just was not moving. 27 potential assists is not good enough. Orlando has to know that Boston is baiting them to go into the paint. And unless there's a clear path to the rim, the Magic should be looking to kick out, use the extra attention to get open shots. And that's going to create a lot more opportunities for Paolo and Franz. It's going to be really, again, pace is going to be such a big thing. It's going to be about the quick decisions that each of these players makes and how they get moving down the court and how they kind of flow into their offense in every facet, in every respect. It's going to be about flow, and both teams are going to try and muck this game up. I am expecting a lot of fouls. I'm expecting a very physical game. I'm expecting a tightly officiated game. So the team that adjusts to that tempo, that doesn't get frustrated by anything, that doesn't get into the intensity of this game in that way, in a negative way, I think that's going to be the team that has the upper hand in this game. Now, obviously, Orlando's going to need someone besides Paolo and Franz to score. I am fully expecting that we will see Paolo and Franz account for about 60 points, 50 to 55 to 60 points. They had 59 in game one. They need someone to come along with them. It's probably going to have to be Wendell Carter. Just looking at the Magic starting lineup, like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, if the ball is moving, he will get his shots. And if the Magic can get 3 threes from him, he got 2 threes in the game on Sunday. Some people were complaining about Kenny. Like, yeah, he needs to get more than 5 shots, probably more than 4 threes, but 2 for 4 3-point shooting. We're probably looking at 3 for 5, 3 for 6, 3 for 7 from him at his peak. I didn't think Kenny was bad at all. I thought he defended really well as well for the most part. The Magic are just going to need someone else to play well. And again, this is the problem with the Magic roster. You look down that list, there are not a lot of guys you can count on. Wendell Carter's presence in the paint, either Wendell Carter or Jonathan Isaac, need to be a presence in the paint. They need to gobble up rebounds, get second chance points, make the Celtics pay for going small, make the Celtics pay for trying to run out maybe, just make the Celtics take advantage of their size and their ability to rebound. That's going to be so big. Orlando just cannot give away the opportunities that they gave away in game one. That's turnovers, obviously. 15 turnovers for 24 points. You can't turn the ball over that much. Can't give up 26 second chance or fast break points. You cannot lose second chance points. Orlando lost that 17-11 to a Boston team that averages only 14. Orlando was 5 for 16 on second chance points. Orlando's got to take advantage of these pockets and take advantage of this play. And yeah, a lot of that's going to fall on Wendell Carter. Again, we know what we're getting from Paolo and Franz. Like, they can defend Paolo and Franz ridiculously well. I'm still very confident they're scoring 50. They're scoring at least 50 points, if not 55 at minimum. Orlando needs that 55. They probably need to be around 55 to 60 to be in really good shape. Getting Wendell Carter going, getting him some rolls, getting him some comfortable threes, getting him to make some of those points around the basket on second chance points especially, that's going to be key to loosening the paint so that they can't just collapse on pick and rolls. It's just going to be so key that someone just has to make enough shots to make Boston respect them enough not to just sell out on stopping Paolo and Franz. And even if they sell out to stop Paolo and Franz, being that safe outlet to make shots. The Magic have to be decisive. Like, it's that simple. And this is a Paolo and Franz problem too. They have to make quick decisions and stick with them. And often those decisions have to be aggressive. Like Anthony Black, I forget who said it, but Anthony Black especially has to be aggressive. He can't take 4 shots. Like, this is the series where we learn what Anthony Black is made of. It's his first real playoff taste. He didn't play much in the playoffs last year. He's been so important to changing momentum of games for Orlando. He's been a reliable 3-point shooter. Made his only 3 in the game on Sunday, but he passed up at least 2 more threes that he should have taken. He has to be aggressive and unafraid. And frankly, he looked like a deer in the headlights a little bit in game 1 on Sunday. I'm expecting a better game from him because now hopefully he's a little bit more comfortable and understands what this stage is. Defensively, Orlando just has to be sharper. I think Orlando did a lot of good things defensively in game 1. They did give up only 37 threes to Boston, which is good, but they took 82 threes. So 37 of 82, that is a little bit less than 50% of their shots being threes. Orlando has to continue to limit their 3-point shots. There are just far too many instances where either Orlando got sucked in going for a rebound and didn't get the rebound and gave up an open 3. There are far too many instances of turning the ball over that led to 3-pointers. There are so many instances of just a momentary lack of concentration leading to an open 3. Like Caleb Houston had a few of them. That's why he played so little. The team just has to be sharper. And while I think Orlando is happy giving up 103 points, I think they're very proud of that, saying their defense gave them a chance. The Celtics had a 118 offensive rating. At the end of the day, it wasn't as good of a defensive game as the final numbers might suggest. Because the game was such few possessions, the Celtics 3-point shooting really changed things. If Tatum is out, they're going to be leaning on that 3-point shooting even more. They have one less guy to attack the paint, one less guy that creates those 3-point looks and creates that attention. So defending that 3-point line, limiting attempts is going to be an absolute must for the Magic defense. They have to do a better job of it. They just have to be sharper. And like I've said this a million times, I feel like on this show, on other shows that I've done, the Magic did not play well Sunday. They are not winning, even if Tatum's out, if they do not play well. They have to play better. They have to play sharper. They have to play more focused We'll see if 2 more days of practice, watching some tape, getting a feel for what this series is going to be like, does it. But like I said, I think game 2 is going to be very different from game 1. I think the intensity is going to ratchet up a little bit more. I think the physicality from both sides is about to ratchet up a little bit more. I'm expecting the officials to call this game a little bit tighter as well. This is going to be a drag-out war. And it's on the Magic to be comfortable in that situation. I think they generally will be. But in that Boston crowd, you get hit with that first punch. Those punches come heavier in the playoffs on the road. We'll see how the Magic handle that. They handled it well in the first half, did not handle it well in the second half, and that's going to be a big part of the battle ahead. The Orlando Magic face the Boston Celtics on Wednesday night at TD Garden. We will be there. We'll recap that game on our next episode of Locked On Magic. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Of course, find me on Twitter at @PhilipR_OMD. Find me on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himmel, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all Family Style podcasts to your podcast-enabled listening device. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, including current updates from shoot-around, we'll get the reaction to the Jayson Tatum injury, non-injury news. I'll have that up tomorrow, or today, Wednesday. You can check out my Patreon page, Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, thank you for your support. Now that you're done listening to me, be sure to subscribe to the Locked On Magic daily newsletter. Throughout the playoffs, Locked On Magic has you covered every step of the way. With the Locked On Magic daily newsletter, you get expert analysis, insider insights, and all the playoff action delivered straight to your inbox for free. Plus, as a subscriber, you'll be entered to win one of these 3 amazing prizes: a $2,500 Best Buy gift card to upgrade your Sports Cave setup, a $300 Game Time gift card to get you tickets to the big game, and a $200 Fanatics gift card to make sure you are dressed for the part. It's easy and free to enter. Simply subscribe between now and April 30th to be automatically entered to win. Don't miss a moment of the Magic's playoff run. Join the Locked On Magic newsletter today and experience the playoffs like never before. Subscribe today and enter to win by clicking the link in the description or going to LockedOnDaily.com. That's going to do for me today, though. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic for Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic. This has been Philip Rossman-Reich. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.